It would be left to the incoming president to give the good news. This is Martin Bell in Washington.
And now back to the main points of tonight's news again. The Japanese car firm Nissan, who make Datsuns, have been given government permission to make cars in Britain. Company officials are now working on a feasibility plan. They've already looked at 3 sites. Michael Foot says he hopes to overturn last week's conference decision on how to elect Labour's leader, and more than half his MPs are backing him. The Polish government warned the independent unions tonight it would get tougher if what it called chaos and anarchy continued. That's the 9 o'clock news. If you won't be with us later, good night.
Good evening to you. Well, we certainly have a stubborn old high on our charts, and it looks as if this area of high pressure is going to be with us for some time to come. So at least as far as most parts of the country is concerned, dry, settled weather for the next few days, although we're going to keep that fog problem. That area of high pressure, incidentally, is the reason why many of you in southern parts of the country have been having interference with your television pictures during the course of the evening. I know that because you've been ringing us here at the television centre, but I'm afraid to say there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. And indeed now, if we look at the satellite picture, you can see the effect the high pressure is having on the weather, because the cloud over most of England and Wales has cleared. There's just a little bit of thin cloud left. Rather more in the way of cloud, though, over Scotland and Northern Ireland, giving 1 or 2 spots of rain, and quite an area of cloud on the way to northern Scotland for tomorrow. But as far as tonight goes, over Scotland and Northern Ireland, the first of those areas of cloud I showed you are still giving just 1 or 2 spots of rain, but as the night goes on, I think it should dry up, although it's going to stay fairly cloudy. Over England and Wales, a completely different picture. The cloud, in fact, in southern parts is well broken, and with the temperature getting below freezing, you're going to have a frost and some icy patches on the roads. And not only that, as I've spelt out here, a fair bit of fog around, the fog thickening up already, and there'll be quite a lot of dense fog, I think, by the morning. So that tomorrow, England and Wales will be starting off, at the very least, dull and misty, and in many places, some quite thick fog around. But it should slowly thin out during the course of the morning, and in many places, the sun should eventually get through, although in central areas, that fog may perhaps linger into the afternoon. It'll stay rather chilly as a result. Over Scotland and Northern Ireland, a little bit more in the way of breeze, and a rather cloudy day there, and later on, perhaps a little bit of rain in the northwest.
Next week, it's time for John Peel and his Radio 1 producer John Walters to go their separate ways. But those champions of rock music's underdogs are reunited in Saturday's Arena. 2 sisters, Eleanor and Marianne, balance the sense and sensibility of Jane Austen's saga of emotionally opposed romantics on Sunday, the day that also shows the dilemma that faced Degas, criticised for his unromantic approach to his subjects. On Tuesday, a flashback to the Spanish Civil War and the memories triggered off, as a trade unionist is disillusioned in an industrial dispute. And on Wednesday, exposed through the much-travelled lens of Francis Houtham, unique film of the splendours of imperial China in the 1930s. On Thursday, the one-man act of Mike Harding, the bawdy bard and cartoon cuts comic. On Friday, the dramatic journal of Bridget Hitler, which suggests the private life of the Austrian tyrant. And the European figure skaters, setting off on Wednesday on the road to Olympic gold, play it ice cool in Innsbruck and in the new Radio Times.
Well, on BBC2 now, Man Alive looks at those neighbourly wars, which are often amusing to outsiders, but never so for the participants in Those People Next Door. Here on BBC1 in 50 minutes, Robin Day's guests in Question Time are Francis Morrell and MPs David Owen, David Steele and Peter Walker. First, Malcolm Stoddard and Mary Tam play out the final moves in The Treachery Game.